You see, I don't think that Uganda is in short supply of places for worship, but I'm almost certain that Uganda just may not have a standard, healthcare center for cancer management. I mean, that's why you will go abroad for treatment. Do you know how many lives will be touched if you have built a hospital? You see, hospital, a Christian, a Muslim, a pagan, anybody, whatever religion you are, you can use the hospital. But you see, the church is only for Christians. And I'm sure if it's a Catholic church, it's only Catholics. If it's Methodist, it's only like it's just a little. You're not serving humanity like that. You're just serving like a few. So this video you're about to watch was shared by Larry Madowo, CNN journalist from Kenya.
A Ugandan politician is getting roasted because after getting cancer and treatment in Germany for 6 months, he built a church in Uganda, not a hospital. This is how he explains it.
In November 2022, I was diagnosed with cancer of the throat. And I underwent chemo and radiotherapy. And I stayed in Germany for 6 months. And I recovered. When I got up out of that nasty experience, I promised God and myself that I will build him a church in his honor.
So basically, that is Kutesa, a Ugandan politician. Back in 2022, according to him, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. So he traveled to Germany for treatment, spent about 6 months there, undergoing chemotherapy and radiotherapy, accessing the best of healthcare that Germany has to offer. So according to him, by God's grace, he got better. And when he got better, he more or less made a vow that if he gets better, he will come back to his country and build a church in honor to God. So after surviving that very difficult time in his life, he came back and truly he built a church for God. Now, let me state clearly here that I have absolutely nothing wrong with building a church. There is nothing wrong with building a church. So no one come here to misunderstand me. I have nothing against, building a church. You had an ailment as deadly as cancer. Maybe Uganda doesn't have like the facility to take care of it, and you could afford it to go abroad for treatment. You did. You went abroad, you got treated, you got well. One would have thought that that period, you said you spent 6 months, that period would have been some sort of like a learning period for you that upon your return to your country, you would somehow want to facilitate the building of a facility that can, help the community, help those who may not be fortunate as you are to, afford traveling abroad for treatment. I mean, that can also be like a promise to honor God that if you make me well, I would build a hospital to serve my community. That can be a promise to God. Right? Like you're a politician, even if you're not building it directly, I mean, you can facilitate it. You're in government. And then you build a facility to the glory of God and to the service of humanity. I don't know why, like politicians in Africa, why you guys behave this way. I mean, God will even bless you more for building a hospital that will serve your people and they don't have to travel to Germany if they fall ill. You see, I don't think that Uganda is in short supply of places for worship, but I'm almost certain that Uganda just may not have a standard, healthcare center for cancer management. I mean, that's why you will go abroad for treatment. Now, you had an opportunity to build something that will help your people, your community. And I don't know. I don't know. Or you want your people, that's the church you're building, in case your Ugandans fall sick, they should go to these churches for treatment while you go abroad, you go to Germany for your own treatment. And you see, if Germany as a country, they were busy building churches all over the place, I don't think you will have one that you would have gone to when you became ill. These are just common sense. These are the things that people do to help their community. In any case, who says you can't build a church and a hospital? I don't want it to, you're just setting up the church to make it look like people are criticizing the building of a church. No, people are not criticizing building of a church. No, people can't criticize that. People are just criticizing your priorities, what should come first. Because, I mean, like I said earlier, there are churches people can worship, but I'm not sure there are so many hospitals like that that can take care of, manage terminal sicknesses like this. So, building a hospital, you're also serving God. It's just sad that you just set up the church for dragging, because this is not about the church. This is not about saying building a church is wrong. No, it's not. But then the hospital that you'd have built, somebody like you wouldn't have to go abroad again if for any reason you have any need to use it. Now that reminds me of COVID year in 2020. I remember then in Nigeria, a lot of personalities, prominent personalities were ill, and because there was just like a worldwide lockdown. People could not travel. So even with your private jet, you can't even travel to another country. So some of the people who died, like the personalities who died, some of them is because of the lack of access to good medical care. That's why, sadly, some of them passed away. They didn't know that a day will come, even with their private jet, they can't even jet out to access, medical care in other countries because everyone was in lockdown. And one would have thought that after that period, a lot of lessons would have been learned. They would have revamped and built hospitals. But no, it's still the same story, same old, same old. The hospitals are still dilapidated. A lot of things are still wrong in the healthcare system. You see, as a politician, how good you make your infrastructure, that is exactly how it will serve you when you least expect it. It's as simple as that. And that was why, the COVID time, the hospital couldn't serve some of these politicians who were down with COVID because the infrastructure were not, put in place at that time, and still not in place as we speak. I don't know why is African leaders the same? Why are they the same though? Why? Why? Because it cuts across, even in Nigeria. But I'm like not condemning this man, but talking about this man because this is the same way the politicians in Nigeria would behave. Our president, every Eke market days, he's in France for one medical, trip or the other, because people can afford it, and then we or the people of Nigeria or Uganda are to stay back. They don't have the money to jet out to Germany for treatment, and then when they are down with this kind of sickness, some of them they just die. Even basic healthcare, basic. I'm not talking about cancer treatment, which is like a terminal one. Basic. Some people in the country can't have access to it, which is so bad. Do you know how many lives will be touched if you have built a hospital? You see, hospital, a Christian, a Muslim, a pagan, anybody, whatever religion you are, you can use the hospital. But you see, the church is only for Christians. And I'm sure if it's a Catholic church, it's only Catholics. If it's Methodist, it's only like it's just a little. You're not serving humanity like that. You're just serving like a few. Let us not make it look like if he had built a hospital, God will not even see that as a sacrifice in his honor. God will. Because that hospital will serve everybody. Because God created everybody in his own image and likeness. Even if you're any religion you're practicing, and that is what the hospital will serve. But you see, the church will serve just a selected few. Even in the Christendom, the church will only serve a few who are a member of that denomination. So you see, it's just too very limited. So let us not come with our feelings or emotions. Let's just think with our heads. Let's think with our head how this thing would have served everybody if a hospital was built. We're not saying we should tell you how to use your money. We're saying you are in government, you can facilitate using government money to build it. It's as simple as that. Even some of your family members, including you, will have to use it if you have built a hospital. You don't need to be flying the plane. If a time comes and you're so ill and they say you can't fly, it's not the hospitals back in the country that you have to fall back to. That's why sometimes you people have to put these things in order so that by the time you want to use it, it will be good enough for you to use. So, like I said, I'm not only calling out that Ugandan politician because Nigerian politicians are sitting comfortably on this table. So this message is for everybody, especially those politicians who could afford to go abroad for treatment and then they pay less attention to the hospitals in the country. You see, Africa, we, our leaders, we really need to wake up. I don't know how you don't understand that if you build a standard hospital, everything will remain here. The medical tourism you have to go abroad for, you don't have to go again. You will remain here. You will have access to cheaper treatment and timely one at that. The community will benefit from having a hospital in their community. Like, I don't know why this is very difficult for people to understand, but it's just very simple. It's very simple. These things will benefit us more. Well, I guess you guys are not interested because if COVID time did not teach us any lesson, I wonder when we're going to learn the lesson. I wonder. Anyway, I saw the video and I felt like, wow, like just misplaced, priority. That's what I think. And don't make it about the church. Don't make it about God. Don't make it look like people were hating on him for building a church. No, it's not that at all. It's not. I'm saying it. I'm like emphasizing it big so no one comes in to my comment and talking and writing. Right? No, it's not about the church. Building the church is not the problem here. The problem is the priorities. Which one serves the larger, community? Which one? And not only serving the community, that also will be an honor to God. It's a no-brainer. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. What do you think? Let's continue in the comment section. I see you again in my next video. Bye for now.